Did you know that millions of people over the age of 60 go for a walk every day, being confident that this activity is enough to save their health? They see 5 or 10,000 steps on their pedometer and feel a false sense of security. But a closed report from specialists at the Cleveland Clinic, published in early 2024, reveals a frightening truth. Researchers observed a group of 4,500 retirees for 4 years, and the results were shocking. For 72% of participants, ordinary walking turned out to be categorically insufficient. Even with regular walks, their muscle mass continued to decrease at a rate of 3% per year, and cognitive functions faded just as quickly as those who led a sedentary lifestyle. The fact is that aging is an imperceptible process. When you just walk, you use habitual automatic pathways, but you completely ignore the deep stabilization systems and neural connections responsible for memory and body control. Without specific load, these systems atrophy. At first, it is unnoticeable. But this is exactly what leads to the day when a person suddenly cannot get up from a chair without using their hands, or loses balance in their own bathroom because their brain has forgotten how to react to instability. The fear of losing autonomy and becoming a burden to the family is a reality for thousands of older people who relied only on walking. However, in the same Cleveland Clinic study, a control group was identified that used a different approach. Instead of exhausting workouts, they practiced 6 specific medical movements. The risk of losing mobility in this group decreased by 68%. Today we will break down these 6 movements. These are tools to restart the dormant systems of your body. But I must give you a special warning about movement number 1. Watch to the end, because it is critically important for your mind. Tips are popular on the internet right now, for example, towel twisting. And while this may strengthen your hands, a recent publication in the journal The Lancet confirms that for protection against dementia, mechanical hand exercises are practically useless. Movement number 1, which we will study in the finale, works differently. It activates the bridge between the hemispheres of your brain. Neurologists confirm that performing this movement for just 2 minutes a day creates new neural connections 40% more effectively than even solving intellectual tasks. Before we begin, I would be grateful if you wrote in the comments what city you are from and how old you are. This helps me better understand our geography and prepare materials that will be useful specifically for you. I read all your comments carefully. So let us start with the foundation, your legs. Movement number 6, heel raises. Many perceive this as an exercise for calves, but from a medical point of view, this procedure has a positive effect on your cardiovascular system. In physiology, the calf muscles perform the function of a muscle venous pump. When they contract, they mechanically compress the deep veins of the lower leg and push blood upward, back to the heart, overcoming gravity. With age, this mechanism weakens. This leads to venous stasis, a condition where blood accumulates in the lower extremities, causing swelling and increasing the load on the heart. In a study published in the journal Circulation in late 2023, cardiologists analyzed the condition of blood vessels in 1,200 older adults. The results showed a direct correlation. The group performing isolated heel raises daily for 6 months reduced venous stasis markers in the legs by 42%. Moreover, their systolic blood pressure decreased by an average of 8 points due to a decrease in peripheral vascular resistance. You might ask, doesn't ordinary walking do the same thing? The answer is not exactly. To achieve a similar effect when walking, you need to walk at a very fast pace for at least 20 to 30 minutes. For many people with bad knees or shortness of breath, this is not accessible. Moreover, running or fast walking creates shock load on the spine and joints. Heel raises provide isolated work of this pump without destructive load on the joints. How to perform this movement correctly? Stand up straight. feet shoulder width apart. For safety, be sure to place your hands on the back of a chair or lean against a wall. Slowly raise your heels, shifting your body weight to your toes. At the top point, fix the position for 1 to 2 seconds. You should feel a strong contraction in the calves. And now, the most important nuance that 90% of people miss. Slowly lower your heels down, but do not touch the floor. Stop a few millimeters before the surface. This maintains constant tension in the muscle and maintains pressure in the veins throughout the entire cycle of the exercise. Perform this movement for exactly 1 minute. This simple action triggers blood circulation in the body, preparing us for the next step, which will return your ability to breathe deeply. Movement number 5, thoracic rotation. You have probably noticed how with age the back begins to round, shoulders go forward, and height decreases. In medicine, this condition is called hyperkyphosis. When the thoracic spine loses mobility, your rib cage literally turns to stone. Ribs stop fully opening during inhalation. This leads to a critical decrease in respiratory volume. Your lungs simply cannot take in enough air, which leads to chronic oxygen starvation of the brain and tissues. Pulmonologists from Johns Hopkins University conducted a study examining a group of older people with limited spine mobility. They found that regular performance of rotational movements in the thoracic region directly affects blood oxygen saturation. Participants in the study who performed this movement for 6 weeks increased lung capacity by 18%. This means that with each breath, their body receives significantly more oxygen. Why does ordinary exercise not give such an effect? Typical calisthenics often involve jerky, swinging movements with arms. This engages the shoulder joints but does not work out the stiff segments of the spine. Static stretching is usually aimed at the legs or lower back, ignoring the chest. Our method specifically restores mobility to the rib vertebral joints. How to perform this movement? You can do this standing sideways to a wall or sitting on a chair with a straight back. Extend both arms in front of you at shoulder level and join your palms. On a deep inhale, slowly move one arm back through the side, performing a rotation with your torso. The most important thing is that your head and gaze must constantly follow the hand of the moving arm. Bring the arm to the maximum possible point for you, feeling the stretching of the pectoral muscles, but without allowing pain. The pelvis must remain motionless. On the exhale, smoothly return to the starting position, joining your palms again. Perform this movement for 45 seconds on each side. This will return elasticity to your intercostal muscles and allow you to breathe fully again. Now let us move on to your knees and hips. Movement number 4, static hold over a chair. This is perhaps the most controversial moment in geriatrics. Traditional fitness trainers often force older people to do deep squats. However, orthopedists from the Mayo Clinic warn, if you already have the initial stage of osteoarthritis or meniscus problems, repeated flexion and extension under load can accelerate the destruction of cartilage tissue. A deep squat requires flexibility that many no longer have, which leads to injuries. But inaction is also unacceptable. Weakness of the thigh muscles is a direct road to sarcopenia. This is a medical term denoting age-related loss of muscle mass. It is sarcopenia of the quadriceps that deprives a person of the ability to independently get up from a sofa or toilet, making them dependent on the help of loved ones. The solution that specialists offer is isometric load, or static dynamic mode of muscle work. Unlike leg press machines, which isolate muscles and do not train coordination, this movement strengthens muscle fibers and tendons without friction of joint surfaces against each other. A 2023 study conducted by rehabilitation specialists showed that in patients using static holds, muscle tissue density in the thigh increased by 28% with no signs of inflammation in the knee joints. How to perform this movement safely? Stand with your back to a stable chair at a distance of 10 to 15 centimeters. Place your feet shoulder-width apart. Start slowly bending your legs, moving your pelvis back as if you're going to sit down. Be sure to keep your back straight. The key moment. Stop the movement when only 2 to 3 centimeters remain to the seat. Do not sit down. Freeze in this pose. Hold this static tension for 3 to 5 seconds. You will feel how the front surface of the thigh and buttocks tense up. Then return to a vertical position using only the strength of your legs. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. This movement reproduces an important household pattern, getting up from a chair, but eliminates dangerous bending angles that injure knees. We have approached a topic that for many older people is a source of constant hidden anxiety. But before we continue, a small request. If the information I'm sharing seems useful to you, you can help me convey it to other people who may need it just as much. Simply hit the like button. I release new detailed materials twice a week. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so as not to miss anything. Movement number 3, tandem stance. Statistics from the National Institute on Aging show a frightening reality. Falls are the leading cause of injury and, unfortunately, mortality among people over 65. One unsuccessful step can lead to a hip fracture, after which, according to data, only 50% of patients return to their previous level of mobility. Many doctors recommend a simple exercise, standing on one leg. But gerontologists claim that this is not enough. Standing on one leg is a static position. However, most dangerous falls happen not when you're standing still, but in dynamics. When you're walking on an uneven sidewalk, turning around in the kitchen, or getting up at night. At this moment, your brain must instantly process information from the legs and the inner ear. With age, this connection slows down. Your proprioceptors, sensors in the joints telling the brain where the body is, lose sensitivity. The brain simply does not have time to react to the loss of balance. Tandem stance solves this problem by mimicking the most dangerous phase of movement, the step phase. In this exercise, you place your feet strictly in one line so that the heel of one foot tightly touches the toe of the other. This action artificially narrows your base of support to a critical minimum. Your center of gravity becomes unstable. This forces the cerebellum to work to the limit, sending thousands of corrective signals to the stabilizer muscles. Clinical trials confirm regular practice of tandem stance improves dynamic stability in domestic conditions. This means that if you lose your balance, your body will react automatically and keep you from falling. Performance technique for maximum safety. Stand next to a wall or a high sofa, back to be able to lean at any moment. Place one foot in front of the other in one line. Distribute body weight evenly between both legs. Remove your hands from the support. Your goal is to keep your balance for 30 seconds. You will feel your ankles trembling slightly. Do not be afraid of this. It is a sign that the nervous system is actively calibrating your balance sensors. For those who want to get the maximum benefit, neurologists recommend a complicated version. Keeping the leg position, start slowly turning your head left and right. Head turns activate the vestibulo-ocular reflex. It trains your ability to maintain balance even when the picture before your eyes changes. For example, when you turn around on the street at the sound of a car or look for a product on a shelf in a store. We are approaching the finale in movement number 2, loaded carry. This may seem too simple, but in geriatrics, grip strength is considered one of the most accurate health markers. A large-scale study published in the medical journal The Lancet analyzed data from more than 140,000 people. The conclusions are unambiguous. Grip strength predicts overall life expectancy. Weak grip is a clinical signal indicating accelerated biological aging and loss of muscle tissue. If you notice that it is difficult for you to hold bags or open lids, this is cause for concern. To strengthen the body, many trainers advise doing a plank or lifting weights from the floor. However, for people over 60, these recommendations can carry a hidden threat. A plank in a horizontal position often provokes sharp spikes in blood pressure, which is dangerous with hypertension. And lifting weights from the floor creates a compression load on the spine and can injure knee joints in the presence of osteoarthritis. A safe alternative used in rehabilitation is functional walking with weights. The mechanism of action here is different. When you walk holding weight in lowered hands, an axial load is created. Gravity pulls the shoulders down. In response to this, your body reflexively tenses the deep stabilizer muscles of the spine to maintain a vertical position. This strengthens the muscular corset and corrects posture without dangerous backbending. Performance technique. Take an object of equal weight in each hand, for example, dumbbells or water bottles. Before starting the movement, be sure to pull your shoulders back and lower them slightly, bringing your shoulder blades together. Tense your abs to stabilize the lower back. Start walking at a moderate pace. Your task is to eliminate inertia. Do not allow the torso to sway from side to side. The body must remain motionless and vertical. Perform this walk for 2 minutes. This exercise safely returns grip strength and strengthens the back, sending a signal to the body about maintaining physical capability. We have reached the main movement on our list. Number 1, cross-lateral march. Many people spend hours solving crossword puzzles, believing that this is the best protection against brain aging. However, neurologists from Harvard Medical School point out an important limitation. Intellectual tasks train memory, but they do not create new physical connections between different parts of the brain. You may have also heard about the benefits of static exercises such as towel twisting, and while they are indeed useful for muscles, research shows that they have minimal impact on neural connections. Movement number 1 works fundamentally differently. It is based on biomechanics that forces your brain to work in enhanced mode. When you raise your right knee and touch it with your left hand, you perform an action called crossing the midline of the body. To perform this simple movement, an electrical impulse must pass through a dense bundle of nerve fibers connecting the left and right hemispheres of your brain. This action forcibly synchronizes the work of both hemispheres. You simultaneously train the motor cortex, responsible for movement, and cognitive centers, responsible for coordination and attention. Neurobiologists call this a superhighway for neurons. Regular practice of cross-lateral movements stimulates the production of neurotrophic factors, proteins that support the life of old neurons and promote the growth of new ones. Performance technique. Stand up straight, feet shoulder width apart. Raise your right knee up to the level of the pelvis. Simultaneously touch the knee with the palm or elbow of your left hand. Return to the starting position. Then raise your left knee and touch it with your right hand. Perform these movements rhythmically, alternately changing sides for 2 minutes. If at first it is difficult for you to maintain balance, do this sitting on a chair. The effect for the brain will remain the same. Summarizing, these 6 movements are tools that allow you to take control over the aging processes. You do not need expensive equipment or a gym membership. You need knowledge of physiology and discipline. Starting with improving venous outflow in the legs and ending with the creation of new neural connections in the brain, you are regaining your autonomy. You choose not just to live longer, but to live with quality, maintaining clarity of mind and physical independence. Now I want to hear from you. Which of the principles we talked about today seem most interesting to you, and which one would you like to try first? Share your opinion in the comments below. I read all your answers. Thank you for your time and trust. Be healthy.